regional hire stuff. If I need to shoot something in San Antonio, I'm going to talk to Cedric. I need to go to Austin, I'm going to talk to James. You never know where you're going to go. You know, I auditioned for something that was going to be shot in Nashville. I have no connections in Nashville. Once I play in Tennessee, I'll need those connections. You need to realize that the world of filmmaking is broad. You know, if you know, and even people who are filmmakers abroad, you never know if you're going to get on a big project someday and get shipped to Romania and not know the language and need a friend. So network with the people that you're at the film festival. Some of the best films I've seen, compelling films I've seen, are not screening in movie theaters that you pay $18 a ticket for that are distributed by Ministry. They're here.
There's also a way to network though.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna go see Cedric's movie because I talked to Cedric and we have a lot in common. And so I'm gonna go try to check his film out to support him because I like him as a person.
Right.
In the middle of a party when I'm 3 drinks in, isn't the time to pull up your trailer on your phone, pull me aside, make me watch the trailer, and then say, think I'm a good fit for your festival? I don't know. I don't even know what your face looks like. So learn how to do it.
Right.
And I think again, like it's not that complicated. Be a human being. You know, everybody knows that the people that people like the most are the ones that talk about other people, not the ones who necessarily talk about themselves.
I looked at the program beforehand, so I was like, okay, I have this little folder. I'm just going to show off my folder. So I have a little itinerary, and I'm a little organized crazy. I have my where we're supposed to be at what time, and what's our screening. Then I have all these little blank spots, like where I put what panels and stuff I want to go to. So of course I'm going to see. I have Cedric's film right now. Of course I'm going to see James because I didn't see it at Bare Bones. And then I'm going to go see Israel's film. And then I research who's on the program, what their film's about, and I look at reviews. I look at, you know, what the person's working on. Be sure to know if you don't know what you're working on next, you know, have a narrative about yourself that you can kind of condense down to a few sentences and let people know what you're working on, what your aspirations are. You're marketing yourself as much as you're marketing your movie as well. So I look at the program, I look at what's playing, and I kind of fill out what I would like to see and who I would like to meet, because it's so exciting.
And the thing is, you know, like you said, you see, you network with each other, and you know, audiences. You know, I've been on the circuit with him, so if I see him at another festival, and provided we're not screening against each other, I'm gonna go see his movie. And if I have my pack with me, I'm like, hey, let's go support. And if you keep doing that, you'll have your built-in audience at festivals, as opposed to being that one guy who came in from somewhere and thinks his film is the best film in the world, and there's no one in there because Richie's out there going, look at that guy.
Bring your business
Conversely,
cards.
you only have to see my film once. It's a feature. You don't need to keep coming. But you know, talking about networking, like your next film, like Cedric is going to help us produce our new film. Like that only happens because we're on the circuit together. So
yeah, you made that connection there.
Yeah.
You made that connection. Bring your business cards. I know we're in the age of electronicness, but bring your business cards. They're still useful. Even if I just throw it in my bag, usually, when I'm lucid, I will take the bag out and I'll line up the business cards and start friending people on Facebook, you know, looking you up on Twitter, finding you on IMDb. They still have, in my view, merit. If you're an actor, bring your headshot. I'm guilty, I didn't bring my headshot.
do the headshot business card.
Yeah, headshot business
Don't
card,
do
that's
the
what I do.
full on 8x10.
Yeah.
Because I want my input.
Right. And I'll speak to something else, how important having that exhibition copy is with you. Besides the obvious, if there's a technical issue, I'll tell you a story about Bare Bones. We talk a lot about Bare Bones here in this panel, because we met there. There was a filmmaker named Sharif who was a filmmaker from Lebanon, and he did something in the vein of Paranormal Activity. I forget what his film's called, but we were carrying our exhibition copy of Seeking Valentina with us. Sharif saw it. He's a film professor in Lebanon, and he asked Armin if he could take Armin's film back to Lebanon to show it as an example of American filmmaking, independent filmmaking. So Armin's film is actually getting shown to college students in Lebanon, which is a tremendous honor for the film. So carry those things with you. Those are tools that you need at your disposal.
Now, do any of you filmmakers want to add anything? I mean,
Your own experiences.
Trying to begin where?
He showed up 20 minutes ago, though. Look how he's still asleep.
Poor thing.
Israel?
I think it's very important to share each other's feelings. I recently, shared, I think I've shared more of the other things in mine. To me, mine is just, like you were saying, it's hard, some people are hard to talk about their own stuff. I'm one of those people.
But you're better off talking about somebody else, because people are like, oh, that guy's generous.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy doing. I like,
Yeah.
because I learn from those, trailers. I watched every single trailer that Sam Antonio put up. I watched yours. I didn't get a chance to see yours yesterday. Just today was all of them. I haven't watched it. But I just think it's very important to share other people's work also. I find it that, like I was saying earlier, let's say I share yours, and you're gonna come to me and say, hey, let's go watch this guy.
Yeah.
Because I rarely get anybody from the Dallas area to come see my film. That's just the Dallas thing. It's not a film city. It's like Austin or San Antonio.
Yeah.
So anybody that I can help out, maybe they can help me out later on.
I think
it works.
I think to pivot from that too, and I've always said this, like to me, the least valuable time at a festival for me personally is the 90 minutes in the dark watching my own film.
Yeah.
The film isn't about, so like when I see filmmakers that like blow in and then blow out the day they screen, like you've missed all of the point. And I think, I mean, like you and Bill work together a lot, and I don't know the history of y'all's friendship. I don't know if that happened because of festivals or whatever, but the fact is that we as independent filmmakers straight up don't have all the money in the world. The thing we can do though is we can build teams and we can help each other out. And I think, you know, the idea of this panel was sort of started because I'm always seeing filmmakers that are like, they clearly don't get to a lot of festivals. They're like, the festival things are pointless. You never get distribution. And maybe not anymore. Like, the fact is that if you look at the business of film, if you don't make a certain genre film or have certain level of recognizable actors, you're not going to get distribution deals that you want. It's just not going to happen. I've lived through it and it's terrible. But what you can get out of festivals, more exposure, bigger audience space, and maybe better collaborators than you had before. I think that's, you can't put a price on that.
And without getting into the unwieldy topic of distribution too much, I had a very short stint one time being a scout at a film festival for a distributor in LA. And some people will send scouts out to film festivals, but really, you know, like James said, you know, if you don't have, you know, you have to have certain check marks, you know, some recognizable names, some budget, some, you know, some impressive laurels to get those more coveted distribution deals. And in the landscape we are, where you can do some self-distribution, you really have to, when you're at the outset of this journey, know what your objectives are. Is your objective distribution? Is your objective name recognition? Is your objective awards consideration? What are your objectives? And the more strategic you can be about that, the more realistic and grounded and better experience you can have. What I always have to remind myself when I do this is it's just like my film has a development, a pre-production, a production, and post. My film festival experiences also have the same kind of arc. We prepare for the film festival. We come here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and charming and lovely and connect. And then after the film festival, I always make it a point, circle back with the people I met. Talk about the film festival again and how great it was. Post it up online, you know, that we went and had all this. Say how happy we're going to be to show up again next year, hopefully. You know, really create that arc. We're all natural storytellers. That's why we're here. And so it's important that we create those arcs of our experiences and our successes at this event. And that way we can continue to build on our successes.
Any closing thoughts, James?
Well, I mean, I just think, you know, these are vital, and I would just do some shameless plugs. If there are two great Made in Texas features playing tonight, there's Association Bill at 9, and then there's Just My Luck at 9. And so I would suggest checking out either one of those films. almost mostly not that.
Yeah, it's all about allowance. I tell people.
And I would say with, is don't fall subject to what I call intellectual dishonesty. And we've all seen it, we all know those guys that'll win at a film festival and post validation. If you're gonna put that much validation in winning at a film festival, then you gotta have an honest assessment with yourself, because you got rejected 25 times. I prefer to be ignorant to both. Israel, you have questions?
I was gonna say, you know, rejection is like part of the,
Yeah.
this is part of life. I've been rejected from everything,
Yeah, you know.
even women, like everything.
I've never been rejected by a woman, but I understand that sucks.
I mean, that's, but you know, it's just a part of life, and you gotta just deal with it.
You made the analogy to actors yesterday, about actors, right? Remember we were talking about that, you were like, you see 40 actors and you're okay with rejecting 39 of them,
Yeah.
but
I always tell myself at film festivals, and I tell the people, and tell myself that applying for film festivals is exactly no different than applying for college.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, cover
A lot of same
letters.
paperwork.
Yes, ma'am, you had one.
I love the statistics, there are 32 no's for one sale. My question is about money. The entry fee and the festival tickets, that's just cost, that's the cost of running the
Right,
festival. So with your crowdfunding, does that allow the filmmakers to pay themselves a very small amount?
I don't pay out of our crowdfunding, but what I do is I budget for festival submission fees. And I budget, and then, so basically I budget where the company, through its different interactions, pays for submission fees and pays for my travel and lodging, and then I pay personally my own food. And that's kind of my way of rationalizing 6 shots at dinner.
Everybody has a little bit different business model, but you should definitely have a budget for the film festival run that's appropriate for you and comfortable for you. You don't want to be on a film festival biting your nails.
Because
Or-
you're hungry.
Yeah, because you're hungry.
At the
You
pawn
know,
shop.
and you want to do what's comfortable within your range of ability to enjoy.
You know, that brings up one thing we didn't talk about. Can we go 3 minutes over? We're already 9 minutes over. What are your thoughts on waivers?
Waivers.
What are we, sorry?
A lot of times filmmakers will email the festival and ask for a waiver. And my answer is, I never give them, but I also never ask for them.
Never ask for a waiver, because, you know, like for our festival, we don't get paid for this, so we need entry fees to run it. And if I'm gonna give you a waiver, I gotta give Jamie a waiver, then I gotta give Joaquin a waiver, the next thing you know, we're watching a movie in my backyard, because we don't have the towing. If, you know, don't ask for waivers now. Some festivals might invite you, if, we, it doesn't happen often, but, don't ask for waivers.
I also feel this way about it. Like when people ask me for a waiver, I'll always reply with a discount. Sometimes a pretty heavy one, like $15 off a $35 submission fee is a pretty big discount. Because I feel like, whether this is wrong or not, but if you're willing to pay a submission fee, it means you're serious about marketing your film. I always feel like if I were to give a waiver and that person would get in, that probably the person now has some sort of thought about how the quality of my own film festival is. It's the Woody Allen thing. I don't like to join clubs that would gladly have me as a member. Like, Annie Hall, no?
Yeah, I mean, if I saw a festival, I mean, if it's $60 or $80, if I think that this is a good shot, and enough to lose, I'm gonna submit. But I don't like asking for discounts because I know where they come from. Some people, gave me a discount and they gave me a promo code, and I was like, wow, I didn't ask for that, but that's a blessing. But
Yeah, the
but
waiver
the film festivals are a small business. And I mean, as exactly as James said, if you're serious about putting money in, if you're serious about it, about marketing, then
Then we know that you're gonna
take the shot.
Yeah.
All right,
I have a question.
Sure.
Have y'all ever thought about, I discussed it with some of my friends, and I noticed that some great film festivals out there, but nobody shows up. But the people that don't show up sometimes win. And have you ever thought about, that could be
Can we turn the camera off so I can answer this question honestly?
present.
Okay, so the official stated practice of our festivals, you don't have to be present to win. However, there have been times where, because like it's all mathematical, the scores are in Film Freeway, and it'll go down to, I think Film Freeway goes down to 100th of a point.
Wow.
And there have been times where in fact, it happened in ARF last year when I was making the announcement for one particular award, and this one, she lost by like 100th of a point. And I didn't even think about it as I was saying it, I announced her as the winner and not the person who had won, who wasn't there. Because it's in the best interest of the festival to have photos of you, me giving you an award. Like, it's not even about I'm rewarding you for coming.
More, the majority of people show up to the festival.
It depends, I mean, you know, with awards, like with the jury awards, like for our festival, we pick the awards way before the festival. We spend like a weekend, you know, watching the finalists. So by then, by the time that we send the acceptance letters, of course, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm coming. But we don't factor that because, you know, we have a team of people who
Yeah.
pick the winners. And yes, does it piss me off to give an award to someone that's not here? Absolutely.
Yeah, because I went to, I drove like, you guys probably did too, 8 hours one time. I was the only one there, but so it wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember, we were at Interurban together, and nobody was there for those awards.
Yeah, yeah.
But even Bill, like, poor Bill, 50% of those people weren't there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, now he's gonna ship them awards, man, like.
If you can have it in your budget to go, by all means, go. I would love to have gone to India 3 times. Couldn't quite swing that one with 3 weeks notice. And like we said, you know, responsible film festivals will give you a good amount of notice so that you can get your act together to
Yeah.
get there.
And if you don't go, you can still participate, you can still push your screening, and I'm sort of guilty of forgetting to do that too, like, but you can still do all of those things that make you feel like an asset to the festival.
Even if you don't show up, some festivals, will ask, if you can deliver a promo.
Yeah.
You do a promo, and if they see that you're promoting, you know, the Facebook events, et cetera. But, you know, if you can't come, I mean, we as a festival, we're not going to punish the worth of your film because you didn't show up. Yes, it makes me mad because I wish you could come, but if you have a very good film and it's won the award,
Yeah, particularly if it wins it clear, like you have the integrity of the festival that you
Yeah.
have. And in the case I was talking about, I mean, we were talking about like a film that was like an 8.91 versus an 8.90, and I made that call, you know. But I mean, but I think you're right, it's a real pickle because the festival, like you said, it's a small business and we need marketing materials and me handing out awards. Like if you go to our award nominations page, it's littered with people with like, we're on there, you know, getting one of your buckles. And so, and it does kind of tick me off a little bit because I believe in the festival, and I'm not saying that I deserve an award, but I think also too, by the time you get into the festival process, you kind of know where your film is compared to other people. So like, it would be splitting hairs sometimes who does or doesn't win. So yeah, I mean, it irritates the shit out of me.
well, folks,
Thank y'all for coming.
thank you
Thank
for
you so
coming.
much.
Thank you. And once
I was
again,
like, get the hell out of there. James is talking again. Get out of there. James won't shut up. Yeah. I'd love to be able to report to my executive producer that I gave him. Thanks, brother. Thanks for coming out, man.
Oh, that's
What's up, buddy? How are you? Glad you came out, man. Yeah, that's great.
I think I was supposed to be on drop.
Those people, they bounce, man. They just